You have questions? America's #1 business coach has answers. It's your Broda from Minnesota. Here's another edition of Ask Clay Anything on the Thrive Time Business Coach Radio Show.
Yes, and yes. Thrive Nation, it is a very special occasion because I am joined with the real Clay. You see, my name's Clay Clark, but I'm joined with the original Clay, Clay Stairs. Clay Stairs from claystairs.com. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic. It's good to be with you today.
Now, you have a client that you are working with, a good guy. We'll leave his name out for the sake of this program today. We don't ever want to divulge the identities of our clients when we're talking about how much money they have in their bank account.
Exactly.
But you have a client with some money in his bank account. Tell us the story.
Yeah, just been doing fantastic with the turn in his company. He's been able to grow over this last year. We grew about 45% in the company. Yeah, it was fantastic.
What kind of gross revenue are we doing? Now, I'm not asking for the industry or the name of the client, but what kind of gross revenue are we talking about when you're saying you grow 40%? Or is it a multi-million-dollar company?
It is. Yeah, we finished last year just under $8 million.
$8 million?
Yeah, just under.
Dollars?
$8 million.
Shakababa.
Yes.
Okay, so things are going well.
Yeah.
And so what is the question that we have today?
So where he is, we have started last year. We started putting away money with every dollar that's coming in. He's paying himself first. He's building up his automatic millionaire account. And we're at a spot now where we've got about $500,000 of cash that is in an account for him. And we were just talking this week, and he's saying, Clay, what are some things I need to be doing with this cash? Right now, he's got it in a money market, and he's saying, do I invest? I've got an idea. Our core business, our core competency, as I'm driving around town, I'm seeing all kinds of opportunity where I could use our core competency in our business to improve the community. And do I invest in some of that stuff? What do I do with all this money?
What kind of opportunities is he seeing?
It's probably in properties. He's seeing buildings that he could buy on the cheap because they're run down.
Yeah.
And he says, Clay, our core competency is we could roll in here, get this thing looking really nice outside and inside, and then either resell or have it for lease. Do I lease it? Do I buy it and sell it? What is my best move here?
Well, the way I would encourage all the listeners to picture this is if you are an entrepreneur, you are out of the wage cage. Woo! Yay!
Yes.
You're out of the wage cage, kind of. Because you're out of the wage cage, but you're free. But as soon as you open up the cage, the wage cage, you now are being chased by an angry Viking.
Yep.
Now you have the freedom to chase bags of money, which is cool. Because when you're in the wage cage, you cannot chase copious amounts of money because you can only get paid a certain amount of money because you work at a job.
Yep.
And you do have a certain level of security because you're at the certain job, and that's how it is. But when you leave the wage cage, now there is a Viking who is trying to chase you. So now, while you are trying to chase the bag of money, the angry Viking is trying to chase you because he thinks you're trying to take his money.
Yeah.
Now, he didn't earn that money, but he thinks it's his. He is like a looter.
Yeah.
He is a rioter. He is very similar to like a socialist worldview. He feels like he is entitled to the money.
Right.
And he would be indicative of this Viking represents your competition. This Viking represents your competitors, by the way. This just in. They do not want you to win in the game of business. Your competition wants to beat you. That could be nefarious ex-employees who want to sue you or do harm by you. That could be the tornado that could hit your business. That could be unforeseen fires, riots, looters. I mean, it could be an endless variety of things could make it hard for you to get that bag of money. But there's a lot of challenges. So once you get the bag of money and you've eluded all these Vikings and all these people who are trying to kill you and all these disasters and the competition and the once you've navigated, I mean, it is tough to run a successful company for many people. Once you've navigated that, you have to understand that 96% of people, according to Inc. magazine, or according to Fast Company, 96% of businesses fail. So you got to understand. I mean, again, 90 Stairs, is that a high number in your opinion? 96%.
96% would be a high number. If I could do things with that amount of accuracy, that would be a good thing. If I heard that there was that amount of failure, then I would think that is a something to be very aware of.
So Inc. Magazine, Fast Company also reports the same thing. But Inc. Magazine right here, I'll put a link to the article here. 96% of businesses fail within a decade. So if your client is winning and they're doing well and they've got that bag of money, they have gone through a landmine, a field of landmines to get that money.
Yeah.
So I don't recommend that they dance around landmines just to see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
This would be like an NFL player running all the way to the end zone, getting to the 1 yard line and going, I kind of want to do it again. So they run back the other way and try again. I just don't like double jeopardy. So what I'm going to give the listeners 4 specific moves you can use, and we're going to fire through them rapid fire here. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to go over the gains, the pain and the gains of each one, so you can understand whether it's a good investment for you. Okay,
Sounds good. Yeah, this is great.
And Alex, so let's go over 5 variables. Let's go over the first one I want to go over is just cash. Cash is king. So when you have cash, you can buy goods and services with the cash. I don't know that you can go to the grocery store. Let's role play. Let's say that we're going to a grocery store. You are the clerk, okay?
Yes.
And I'm a millionaire on paper, okay?
Okay.
And I'm going into the Whole Foods, and you're the meat guy.
Ooh, I'm the meat guy.
And it's time for me to check out because I just bought some really nice Angus beef, okay? Here we go. So this is the Angus I'd like here. Thank you so much, and appreciate you. Do I have to pay for this?
That's what that's what the manager said. Yes, you have to pay.
So
for
I
it
can't
today.
leave without paying you first?
I don't think so, sir.
But I'm worth millions of dollars. You understand my assets versus my liabilities? I've got $4 million of real estate assets, and I only owe $200,000 left on it. I've got $4.2 million of real estate, $400,000 of which it's completely paid off, and so I don't have any cash.
I have to get my manager, sir.
You see what I'm saying, though? You cannot buy meat with equity in real estate.
Right.
So cash is king. So I would tell my client, almost all my clients, I would keep all the cash. And I would put it in multiple banks because the FDIC, what these guys do is they insure your money up to a certain amount of money. Now, Stairs, you have invested in Regent Bank.
Yes.
Why do you see that the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation has a little sign they put in all the banks that says your money's insured up to $250,000? Well, why do they put that out there?
Well, that's just in case anything were to happen to the bank. Then the FDIC will guarantee that you will get your money back up to $250,000.
So if you have $500,000,
yeah,
I would take $250,000 and put it in bank one.
Okay.
$250,000 in the other bank.
Boom.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. Now, do you know what Barack Obama did with $1 billion of cash? Did you hear about what President Barack Obama did with a bunch of cash? Did you hear about this?
No, I haven't heard about this.
Really? You've not heard about this?
No.
This is a great thing for you to know. President Obama, he gave to our good friends in Iran, and this is something I want all listeners to check this out. Go to, just type in Barack Obama, Iran cash. And you can see here in the LA Times that Barack Obama gave the terrorist nation of Iran $1.7 billion of cash.
Wow.
Of cash.
Cash.
So what he did is he gave them cash. Now, again, type in $1.7 billion payment to Iran was all in cash. This is according to the LA Times. Cash. Now, why would he give Iran? Again, we're not getting into the politics, so I'm just saying, but why would Iran prefer to have cash?
Because now they can buy what they want. If you were to give them stuff, then if they wanted to convert the stuff into cash, they'd have to go through the process of selling. But if you get cash, now you can do what you want to with it.
Now, just so we're clear, shipping the cash to Iran required them to take pallets and load up the pallets with cash.
Wow.
Pallets.
So this
Multiple.
isn't like we'll do a wire transfer. They literally loaded up pallets of cash.
And why did they want cash? I mean, well, again, cash, it's not traceable. You can do what you want with it.
Yeah.
Cash.
So
I don't know if you go to the bank today, if you went to the lobby of a Region Bank, or Region Bank, or Region Bank. If you went there to the lobby of Region Bank and you said, I would like to get $500,000 of cash, they're going to look at you weird. They're going to ask you why. You're going to tell them because you really want the cash. They're going to ask you, do you want a cashier's check?
No, could you put that on a pallet?
Could you guys put it on a pallet, please, in the back?
I like the pallet of
So
cash.
again, I just want to make sure we're getting this idea. Cash. When I'm talking about cash, I am saying the words that are coming out of my mouth are cash. Actual money.
Yeah.
Cash.
Not a check, not one check representing cash.
I would recommend that you would have either the money split up in 2 bank accounts,
okay,
or have a lot of cash. And you go, well, what if I get my house robbed? I mean, these are things. This is a real conversation. I'm being serious though, because when things happen, you can use cash currently.
Yeah, currently you can.
I know people that have all their money. I've had clients who've had all their money in a bank account before, and to no fault of their own, something weird happened with their debit card, and they've had a lot of money taken out. They can't spend their own money. Could you relate to this, Mr. Steers?
I can relate to this. It happened when I took over my family's business.
Yeah.
Back in 2005, I learned the hard way that the government can come in and take $80,000 out of your account and not even tell you.
They took $80,000 out?
Take it.
Wow.
And then you find out when you try to go to Walmart and buy something for $2.50.
And you realize you can't buy anything because the money's not there.
Yeah.
So when I'm saying cash, I'm saying let's one viable option for your client is say, hey, try to get as much as you can of cash and put it somewhere where you can remember where you've put it. Seriously.
Which is good. Put it someplace where you can remember to put it.
Yeah, put
That's
it someplace
key.
where you go, where was that money again?
Yeah, key.
Or put it into 2 different bank accounts. Never put more than $250,000 in one bank account.
Good point.
All right.
Great.
Now, the next option, we got 5 options. Option number 2 is gold. Now, if you buy gold, the one thing about gold is the price of gold. Let's do the price of gold in, let's go with 1971, okay? Because the gold used to be a thing that was it backed our currency. Yeah. So for every dollar we would print, we'd have a certain amount of gold. It was called the gold standard. Mm-hmm. And then President Nixon thought he didn't want to do the gold standard anymore. And Stairs, why do you think President Nixon didn't want to do the gold standard anymore?
Well, he wanted to have more money, more paper money than we had gold.
Well, and this is, I'm telling you, what you said is correct. And let's just say that you had to have a certain amount of gold to back up your currency. So again, you couldn't just print unlimited amounts of currency. What happened when he was able to begin printing money without needing to have a certain amount of gold to back the currency?
Well, now, again, things that we're even experiencing right now, you can just make up money.
Right.
You can just, boom. Oh, you need more? Here you go. We can just
and
make
we could
up
spend
money.
a whole show on this. We could talk about inflation. But the point is that gold doesn't increase in value. The dollar decreases in value.
Right.
So if you look up the inflation rate, I'm going to look up, this is the inflation calculator. Let's do this fun thing. Let's go to 1971, okay?
We're going to freak some people out here.
And let's say we go back to 1971, and you had, what year were you born, Stairs?
1964.
So 1964, so let's say when you were 30, that would be 1994. Does that sound fair?
Sure.
So 1994, you're 30, and you wanted to buy, you wanted to see how much your money would be worth then. So I'm going to say you had $200,000 in $200,000 in 1994.
Okay.
Today, it would require $346,000 to buy what you could have bought for $200,000 back then.
Oh, wow.
Let's do another example. Let's say we go back to 1971, and you wanted to buy a new car for $5,000. That same car today would cost you $31,000.
Wow.
So you could buy a new car for $5,000, 1971, and now that car would cost you $31,000. So gold just goes up in value. No, it doesn't. Gold holds its value, and the dollar decreases in value.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
So it costs a lot more today to buy something that
Yep.
than it did back in 1970.
And that's called the inflation rate that,
Yep.
that devalues your money. Just look at it like this. Money is Kool-Aid. Every time government prints more money, it devalues it deflavors the Kool-Aid. It devalues the
just
Kool-Aid.
puts more and more
More water.
water.
Absolutely,
more and
waters
more
it down. So gold is a great thing. And if you look at the price of gold today, price of gold per ounce, and let's look at it on a graph real quick here just so the listeners can get what I'm saying to you. The price of gold, let's go with the price of gold, and let's go with the price of gold, and let's be fair about it. Let's pick a year. Let's go to 1971. The price of gold got down to $237 an ounce.
Wow.
And now today it's at $1,725 per ounce. So that would have been a great investment.
That
I mean,
would have been a
imagine
good
that
time.
that means your money would have gone up in value, quote unquote, by 7 times.
Wow.
So that's an option. Third, which I like, is other businesses that spit off more cash.
Yeah.
So I would open up like another business that spits off more cash, or just grow my business more. Option 3 or option 4 here: stocks and bonds. Now let's talk about this. The the Dow Jones average right now today. Dow Jones average as of 7:36 in the morning on June 4th is now at 26,269. That's how many points it's at. 26,269.89. You and I were talking about this the other day.
We were.
Because your wife had just turned 30, and I was saying, based upon the fact that she is just turned 30, I think you turned 24 yesterday.
Yes, sir.
You guys are getting younger every year. It's awesome. Based upon that, I said, if the stock market gets up to about 30.
I identify with 30.
I said, if it gets up to about 30 now, 30,000 points, I told you to do what?
You said cash out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because of where we are and what our goals are and so on.
Yeah. Because the market, the stocks, they go up and down quite a bit. So if you look at the Dow Jones average in 1999, I had a teacher in 1999 who told me the story. He pulled me aside and he said, I'll be retiring this year. And I said, why? He says, well, the Dow Jones is over 10,000. And when I first started investing in this thing, it was a lot lower than that. And so I've been investing in stocks. And he'd been investing since the 70s. But it was at 844 points back in 1979. And he pulled me aside and he's like, hey, buddy, I want you to know, because I had a lot of questions about investing in stocks, and the teacher, I knew he invested, and his money had gone up in value so much that he was like, if it hits 10,000, I'm
done.
I'm done. And he did. He hit his goals. So stocks and bonds are a great thing, but usually all the value, all the gains in your stock can be lost in like a week.
Oh, yeah.
And then it takes like a decade to build them back. So you want to remember remember the value of the Dow Jones. Remember the Dow Jones average when you invested in your mutual fund. Remember the number and write it down in your book. And say, I invested in the stock market here in 2020, and the day I invested in the market, the value of the market was 26,000.
Yeah.
And then make yourself a mental goal and say, whenever I get to 35,000, I'm out, or whatever that number is. Because if you wait, and let's say we're experiencing a major recession, and now you're 65, and you just lost your investments, just got cut in half, you're not going to live long enough to get that gain again. And then option 5 is real estate. I've done well in real estate. I'm not a real estate tycoon by any means, but I've done well. And what that means is you just have to buy something that is beat up in a nice neighborhood. Buy a beat up piece of property in a nice neighborhood and then fix it up. And you make money when you sell it at a higher price. The danger about buying a commercial building is there's not a lot of buyers.
Ooh, good point. This is good.
So how many clients are you working with right now?
We've got 34.
And you got one of your clients is doing over $500 million of revenue per year. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And they make stuff for NASA, correct?
They make stuff for NASA.
All points based in Florida, I believe.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
The big
great
company.
Big, yeah.
$500 million a year of business.
Crazy.
Isn't it actually $600 million?
Well, they're on pace this year to hit 6.
All points, based in Florida. Great client, great people.
Yeah, that we just saw the Dragon, the SpaceX Dragon dock with the space station just over the weekend, and that was all their technology and all their training and simulation and all that kind of stuff.
So you got one of your clients though that's doing on pace to do $600 million of revenue this year. They did $500 million last year, I believe. I mean, that's a big client.
Yeah.
How many clients do you have that do $500 million a year?
1.
Did you say Juan?
Juan. Uno.
Answer the question.
Uno.
How many clients, seriously, do you have that are doing $500 million a year of revenue?
I have one that's on pace to do it. How about that?
You keep saying Juan. How many clients? Answer the question. All right. So the thing is, you and I know there's not a lot of clients like that.
Yeah.
Now think about the clients we have. Again, your clients. Think about the clients that you have. You got a lot of great clients who are doing well. How many of those clients right now are looking to buy a building?
None.
So the market to sell a commercial building is very small. There's very few people that want to buy a commercial building. Very few.
Great point.
96% of business owners fail within 10 years, according to Inc. magazine. We have a country with 330 million people. And you understand that about 6% of our population at any given point gets fired up and decides to start a company?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're talking about, and then 96% of those fail. So you got a market of like 0.5% of our population that would be interested in buying a building potentially. So I do not recommend that most people would buy or build a building. And you say, well, Clay, you're building a building. Well, let me tell you why. When I'm dropping $27,000 a month on a building and air conditioning and all the crap. You remember our old downtown office?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I had such a sweet deal there. I helped find the space, rent the space, I subleased it out to other good people. So I had Farmers Insurance was there, Epic Photography was there, DJ Connection was there, Creative State was there. That was his building, and I helped sublease it. Oklahoma Magazine was there. So I was paying like $1,500 a month.
Wow.
For that building. So that's pretty cheap. So yeah, right now, if I build a building, if I pay cash, which Vanessa and I've talked strongly about doing, then my payment per month would be nothing. If I rent money from the government, which by the way doesn't have money, they just print money. If I rent money, that's a scary idea. But I'm going to borrow money from the government that they don't have. And the way it works is that the bank borrows money from the government. The government doesn't have any money, so they just print it. So the government, step one, the government prints money. Step two, they transfer the money to the bank. No, they don't. They just wire it. What does that mean? They're basically moving over digits.
There's
in a
no
machine.
pallets. There's no pallets moving here.
So the government just goes, boop, 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 boop. They hit that's the number when they're typing. They just type in the number and they say, $1 million, and then they go, okay, enter. They transfer it over digitally to the bank. The bank then says to me, sir, do you want to borrow the money that we don't actually have either? And you say, would like to borrow the money that you don't actually have. Well, great. And then they mark up the money that they borrowed from the government to me, and they're renting me money.
Yeah.
And the cost to rent money is really cheap right now. So would it make sense to rent money? Sure. Why? Because cash is king. And I want cash because you can't go to as much as I'd like to, I would love it if I could go into Brahms and take my kids and say, could you debit my net worth, please? Because I have a lot of net worth. Yep. They're not going to do that. They need cash. So I think we've talked about all 5 areas.
Sounds good.
I think we've provided clarity. So if it was me, what would I do specifically? I would keep the cash, and I would move it into multiple banks, and I'd have as much of it liquid as possible, and I would not buy in or invest in anything until I have more than $1 million of cash.
There we go.
And then once I got to $1 million of cash, I would have the thought, if everything goes to crap and my life is not good, how much cash do I need to make it? And then I would keep not investing in anything else until maybe I have $2 million of cash, whatever that number is where you feel comfortable. And then I'd sleep at night going, I have my money in the bank accounts of 8 different banks today, a net worth of $2 million. And if a lot of things go bad, I'm as close to insured as possible.
Yeah.
And then for your client, I would say buy as much insurance as possible because insurance allows you to have a bad day and not a bad life. Invest in that insurance. And I think now, without any further ado, it's time to end this show with a boom. Clay Stairs, I appreciate you being the founding father of the name Clay.
Yes.
For allowing me to rent that name from you.
Old Clay.
But the folks out there, he's the original. And I have been stealing his name. I've been borrowing his name for several years now. And we're going to end this thing with a boom. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom.